How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Where Did All My Friends Go? My hand's going crazy. We'd like to take a second to thank this week's sponsor before we get into the episode, Diazable Apparel. Now, Diazable Apparel is an apparel brand based out of San Antonio, Texas, and Seoul, South Korea. Diazable makes some rad clothing, though. And if you're like me and 90% of your wardrobe is black band tees or a black shirt that shows off how funny and awesome you are, then they got you covered. I mean, how can you go wrong with the pizza-themed shirt that says, "It ain't easy being cheesy"? That's just rad as hell. They make products with you in mind. If there are designs that you'd like to see, let them know. They'll listen. And most importantly, they want to support you to do the things that you love. No matter where you are in life, take that first step. The rest will come together when it needs to. That first step is always the hardest. Visit them at www.diazable.com. Pick something up, show your support. Also, give them a follow on Instagram to stay up to date on new items and events at Diazable Design. That's DIAZABLEDESIGN. Thank you so much again to Diazable Apparel for sponsoring this episode. Now, let's get into it, see what Goalkeeper's up to.
We did like this one. There was one episode of something where we literally just sat there and just grabbed shit showing up, like whatever was on our desk. And I have so many toys just sitting on my desk.
See just the back of you, like in the background.
Oh, I've got tons of toys behind me too.
Yeah, I don't have much of anything. I've got an old Tigger pillow I've had since I was a little kid.
A Tigger pillow?
Oh, like, TI double girder.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
I was just on like making sure I heard you correctly. Nice.
And because every kid wants to know what Tigger's ass looks like.
Heck yeah.
They were really detailed. Like, we need to double print side this pillow, and the back it needs to be Tigger's ass.
Yeah, my wife basically like set up my office. She made it all look nice for me.
It's very aesthetically pleasing to look at.
During Christmas time, it'll be even more aesthetically pleasing because in that corner I'll have a big old tree and shit too. Dude, I love Christmas. It's my shit.
My family and I used to decorate for Christmas on Halloween, and I would dress up as Santa Claus. And because I used to work at the local CVS, I knew all the people there. Mm-hmm. So we would buy, hundreds of candy canes.
Nice.
My parents always have Great Danes, like that's what we grew up having. So we would dress them up as a reindeer. I'd sit outside, full Santa getup, and kids candy canes. But my family's house is like the Griswold, so like I go over there every year and set it up. They have the blinking lights to the music, and
that's awesome.
I've been on so many families like Christmas cards, and the kids are always so confused. They're like, "It's Halloween. Why is there like Rudolph?"
Right.
Voted most scary costume too every year.
I'm hoping to be able to be Santa one year, so
you got it. You're almost there.
Almost, it's getting there. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Where Did All My Friends Go, a podcast about life in the music industry. Today we have Marc Juliano from the band Goalkeeper from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on the show. Welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Good, dude. Nice to see you just a short couple weeks later.
Yeah. So he's talking about, we were just at Four Chord Music Festival. We got to hang out. Who'd we see? We stood side by side, shoulder to shoulder watching, was it Alistair?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Legendary.
I think so.
Legendary band.
Oh gosh, they were so good. And well, I don't know if I told you, but later on I ended up going and like talking to them. They were just hanging out at the at their merch table. So we're gonna have Tim on the show later in the year.
Oh, dude, that's awesome, especially with how much their records like mean to you when you were telling me.
Absolutely. I fucking love Last Stop Suburbia. So good.
It's I mean, everyone will say the top 10 pop punk records will be all the ones like Enemy of the State, take Last Stop for or Suburbia, whatever, from Wonder Years, like on to Get You Neck Deep, and a few others like sprinkled in there. But dude, Last Stop Suburbia, or not? What's the record called?
That's it. It's Last Stop Suburbia.
Yeah, okay. I always mix that up and like the Suburbia record from Wonder Years because they have Suburbia. Not too many bands have that, but
there's
anyway.
lots of bands that do Suburbia. It's okay.
Yeah. But that record is always going to be criminally underrated.
Oh God.
No one's ever going to realize, or so like same thing with like So Long Astoria from the Ataris. There's two records shaped this genre more than like a lot of people know, but they never get the credit that's due.
I mean, So Long Astoria was pretty big. Like that one, that was pretty big for a while, especially on MTV with Boys of Summer.
Yeah, I guess I'm talking about like nowadays you don't see people referencing those two records as much. Like you'll see them reference like the big records that everybody knows, the mainstream records.
Yeah.
But I feel like you don't hear like this is making us sound old, but the later generations.
That's okay.
Referencing those like two records as much as I feel like we should. Our pop punk community should put them on a pedestal.
Right. I agree. I like one of the things that I was stoked to be able to do is so the drummer for like my first like ever band really liked Alistair as well. And like so he he doesn't do like music stuff really anymore. He's got a family, his kid plays hockey. So that's a lot of time right there. Hockey, kids hockey. It's insane, man. Insane. Like it takes complete parental dedication. And so
6 a.m.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Crazy all year long too, especially up here. So I gotta give props to my buddy Mike Taylor. So one of the things I was stoked to do was like I took pictures, I took some videos of Alistair to send to him. I was like, you can't be here, but I can get you this. So one day my goal is to bring him out, be able to go see this stuff. That's the dream.
There you go. Dad's weekend away.
Yep, Dad's weekend away. Absolutely. So getting into like the questions, the actual questions I prepared for you. You recently released your first single off your upcoming album, I Wish I Had Met You Sooner, titled Sooner. And you have the next single, Car Wreck, out soon. How has the response for the new music been so far?
Really good, actually. A lot of comparisons of like Blink meets the Menzingers.
Sure.
Which, ironically, is exactly what we were going for.
Perfect.
So, we didn't want to. We didn't want to write into like too much of the new poppier like pop punk stuff that we're seeing, like with Magnolia Park. Nothing against it; it's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just I think we're trying to lean a little bit more into the Menzingers, Gaslight Anthem, later records of Wonder Years, and like Man Overboard, Jimmy Eat World vibe.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you can definitely feel some like Jimmy Eat World with just like the, heavy power chords, rock and stuff in there.
Yeah, and so it's cool that like a lot of people are picking that up. Like it wasn't like we like were going for something and then everyone's like, oh, it sounds like this instead. It's like, no, you're wrong.
No, you're wrong.
Yeah, but it's been good. It's really cool to see the staying power the band has after like all these years, especially when like a lot of people will say like, oh, you guys are kind of like in that forefront of bands who are like doing it, but it's like don't feel that way, especially when you get a lot of the other bands who are like the home team and all them. Great dudes, but like they're killing it right now.
Yeah, doing so good.
New
album's great.
It was cool that people still like are listening to the song and we're able to get like the streams and the monthly listeners and the show attendance we have been not doing, I guess what you would say is like the popular style of pop punk right now.
Sure.
So I want to like gaining new fans every day. A lot of people reached out too, saying that the record touched the song "Sooner" touched a real emotional like part for them,
Yeah.
uh, which is really cool because when we're writing the song, we definitely wanted that like melancholy vibe where it's like, oh, here's this love side of this couple and everything's perfect, but then it's like, but it's not gonna last, and you know it's gonna end. And so a lot of people have like reached out to us and said like, yo, I like felt that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been really cool.
When you guys released Sooner, so the fact that like I go through so many submissions and I hear so many songs, so it's all sometimes it's hard to like get back to a song again. But I'm waiting for the Spotify wrap up at the end of the year to see how many fucking times I've listened to Sooner, because literally it is one of the most listened to songs that I've had this year.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
And it's only been out, you know, like at the time of this, it has only been out like month, 2.
Yeah, about a month, 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks.
Yeah, it is a repeated song.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely. I've listened to the whole album, and like each song is great. The album is literally great from start to finish. I'm excited to see like what everybody thinks of the whole album. It is great. So kudos.
Thank you. Yeah, there's some gems on there that we've never done before. I think specifically track 5 that people are gonna feel like, huh? So, but so far it's been hitting really well.
And yeah, it like there's some differences, you know, in new things that you guys have tried, but it all flows really well together.
Right.
It's one cohesive unit from start to finish.
Well, and that's what we really wanted. I mean, that's what every band wants that writes a record. None of us, that like any of us, have ever written a full-length record before. So, you know, we've done a couple EPs. Even in our old bands, they've been EPs.
Sure.
So this was the first time us as a unit, like, really tackling how do we put 10 plus songs onto a record, but they don't sound like just the best 10 songs we could write, but there's no like meaning. And this was actually the first time that like we fought for a song, the band, like really hard. Like there was one song that we thought, man, it hit everything in the feels. Like it was dark, it was heavy. Ryan was very vulnerable emotionally on the song, which was something pretty new for him to be like that open. And it got rejected, you know, between the team that we were working with. They're like, you listen to these songs, this doesn't fit anywhere in that story. Great song, but it would be the outlier.
Sure.
You know, and so we were forced to write a new song, and essentially we did with that the song "Notice Me" that everyone listened to. That was like the happy accident of the record.
It's fantastic when those happy accidents happen.
Oh yeah, especially when weed's involved.
So the new album, I Wish I Had Met You Sooner, is released on October 28th. So there's so much that goes into releasing a new album, from releasing singles, music videos, playing shows. What's your favorite part of the release process?
Hate it all, dude. No, seriously, I am the most anxiety. I hate it. I'm just like so nervous someone's gonna say like the song sucks or we lost it, and no, I'm kidding. There is a lot of stress, but I think
No, there's always that stress though of like if people are gonna like it, and you know.
Honestly, I think my favorite is just the release day for each song or the drop. It's fun to just sit back and see what the internet has to say, and the thing I've always wanted to be able to do with a band, and I can speak for Cody and Ryan on this too, is we wanted to be able to release things that, you know, an audience wants to hear. They want to talk about, they want to share. And it's insane to get people from all over this world talking about a release of a song or the EP or whatever we released, and I'll just go onto Twitter or Instagram, and someone from South Africa is sharing our music, someone from Australia, UK, someone's buying a T-shirt from Germany. You know, it's just like, this is cool, and they like it. So, and I guess, you know, like any other artist would say, you put a lot of like blood, sweat, and tears into recording these songs, like, and not just to like push yourself to make a better song each time and grow as an artist, but like there's so much backhand work that a lot of people don't talk about. Like for this record specifically, I studied the guitar playing of so many new bands that I haven't really looked at before. So, like the Gaslight Anthem, I really looked into the Menzingers, the later Wonder Years, Coldplay, Oasis, the deep dives of like Jimmy Eat World, like not just the singles, but like the songs on the record that like make the record, the record. And you know, so like I'm thinking like all that time I put into studying those guitar parts and learning those songs, and going to the studio and making my own songs that aren't a carbon copy ripoff, obviously.
Obviously.
And then being told to do it again like 1,000 times because like that one lead could be just a little tighter played. And then, you know, song gets out there and everyone's just like, it's awesome. And we're like, ah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I did it, Mom.
Yeah, told you. But yeah, and shows are definitely fun. I feel like shows get better once the record and songs are out for a little bit because then people know the words.
Right.
You know, and we're kind of at the point now where we can pretty much go anywhere and there's going to be at least a couple people who know our music.
That's
and
awesome.
We can be in the crowd and like singing our songs. And so it's always a real weird feeling when you go from like playing a song like Happy and the whole crowd is going nuts. And then you jump to a song like Sooner and the crowd is feeling it. But at the time we were playing it, they didn't really know it. So they're just like, that was awesome.
Yeah,
okay, now play something we know so we can like crowd surf.
Watching it.
Yeah. All right, I gotta check it out. What's the Hard Times article? Guy in the back with arms crossed, secretly having a good time.
Right. It's also, that's always the hard part of like going to a show too, because it's like you want to like. I mean, I just sit with my arms crossed like a lot of times. It's just comfortable for me. I'm not being closed off. I'm not trying to be. You know, it's just more comfortable in my hand in my pockets.
Ryan talks about, because he has like a nice little beer gut, he says it's like a table for his arms.
Exactly. I feel that.
He's like, this is just comfortable. I don't want to like sit here like a monkey with my hands to the side. I can put them on my little belly table.
Yeah, because if you don't put it on your little belly table, then, you know, you have a couple options. You can shove them in your pockets, or you can like stand like a superhero, you know, hand on your hips.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not much of a superhero, you know. I'm a belly guy.
Although I think now I'm gonna pull a superhero at the next show I go to. I'm just gonna like, this is great.
Yeah. Stand back fucking straight as hell and just
wear a cape, just have the get up.
I like it.
Spider-Man from Four Court.
Yeah, there you go. So let's go back to the beginning a little bit. Goalkeeper started releasing music in 2016 with your first single, Leftovers, which was part of the Gut Feeling EP. What would you say is your favorite song from those early days, and do you still perform any of them live?
So I do like playing Leftovers a lot. I think that song hits, and it was our first thing that we wrote together. And like a quick backstory, when we started the band, we really weren't going to take ourselves very seriously. Like we literally said, we want to be a band that writes about very relatable topics in a very unique, funny analogy. So like that song, You Make Me Feel Like the Leftovers in Your Fridge you forgot about.
Right.
Like who that's, you can relate. It's great.
You can.
We're like Pong Partners, like the idea of, like when you're at a party in college or high school, like you use the Pong table to flirt with the person you had an attraction to. You know, you'd be on the same team, flirting and hanging out, and you know. But Pong Partners actually has stayed in our set pretty often. I don't think so much now with the new record and having performing the new songs.
Right.
But that stayed in there for a while, and that always went off really hard live, especially once you get to like the second chord or second verse. And leftovers. We usually do leftovers as like a hometown encore.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that makes
which
sense.
is always which is always fun. You know, it's a goofy song. It's a nice light. It's a nice, heavy, loud, aggressive song that ends on like a happy, like smiley note.
Right. So you've also had the opportunity to work with what some would consider legends in the pop punk field. You know, Nick Bruzzese from Man Overboard, Ace Enders from the Early November, and Kevin Mahoney from Hit the Lights. Can you tell me a bit about what that's been like?
Weird. But I guess weird because like when we first started out, you know, the whole idea, like, you just want someone that cool to like notice you
Yeah.
and like want to sit in the room with you. Like there's a lot of validation there. We met Kevin. We actually we played 4 chord 4 in 2017, and Hit the Lights played. We did awful, worst set ever. But
That's the best
then,
place to have the worst set ever, too. You know.
at least we played second. That's all I'm gonna say. It didn't help to have like bands like Bearings and Home Safe and Hit the Lights and all them watching us have a train wreck. But it was very gratifying when we would play with those bands like a couple years later, and we were completely different and better.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Kevin came up to us after the set and was just like, "Hey, I heard your song Pong Partners. There's something there. Don't give up. It's really catchy and it's really good. Today sucked, but you'll get through it. Just deal with it." And then that was awesome. And we ended up working with this guy for the next EP named Rick King, who was working with Hit the Lights for some of their post Summer Bones stuff. And when Kevin found out we were going to Rick, he reached out and said, "Hey, can you ask them if I can be their producer?" And that's how we became friends with Kev since
That's awesome.
2018. And he's been the main producer for everything we put out since. And going as far as to flying up to New Jersey for this full length, because this was the first release we've done where we didn't actually travel somewhere far. Nick was great. Nick's a local. He's actually really cool. He makes himself known in the local scene. Like he's not afraid to like drop into a local band's DMs who he thinks is cool.
Yeah.
Say, "Hey, come write or come do a song with me."
Oh yeah, Nick's awesome.
Yeah. He's actually the dude who really pushed us to kind of take our music more seriously. So like we knew we wanted to take it live more seriously, but when we were going in there to do our song Screwdriver, it was again just a goofy haha hangover song.
Yeah.
Like Nick basically said to us, he's like, "Yo, you guys have something here, but you're too big funny and not cool funny. And if you don't stop, you guys are gonna be like the Weird Al Yankovics of pop punk." And of course Ryan, that's like his favorite artist ever for some reason, is like, "Hell yeah!"
Weird Al, like, fucking, we're on the right track, man.
Yeah, and Nick's like, "Nah, not cool." Lame. So Screwdriver was actually the first attempt at us to take a goofy song and then turn it into this like deeper meaning, which ended up kind of that back end of the song turned into more about like, "Hey man, you might have an addiction here." So, and then we actually co-wrote a song on the record that he sings on, Lost Reality, as well. And it was cool to work with him again a few years later and have him come up to us and say like, "Hey, back then I didn't really see you guys going much further than you did, but I'm like really excited to see how you guys have like kind of proven everybody wrong. You're not just a joke whatever band. Like you guys take it seriously." So so that was even super gratifying, just because, you know, hearing someone like him who literally started a revolution in pop punk with the Defend Pop Punk come up to us and say, "I was wrong about you guys. You guys are actually like doing it." So yeah, and we got to work with like Will from Cartel, which was awesome. I wrote a song with him for the new record as well. It's the last track on the record. He taught us a lot about not giving a fuck on a record, which was really cool. Because Bathrooms Don't Last was so you have to have the pop 5-part harmonies and this and everything has to be perfect. Da, 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 da. And Will was just like, that note sounds off, but it kind of sounds gnarly, dude. You know?
Yeah, those are rad when you do that too. You know, like there's got to be a set.
Ryan,
It can't always be perfect, like that. If you do, like everyone can tell if everything is absolutely perfect, and sometimes those imperfections make it feel more real.
yeah, and sometimes it just there's happy accents that just sound like a weird random harmonic noise on a guitar
Right.
perfectly is like, yo, that actually sounds like me. Ooh,
Yeah.
good. He taught Ryan the greatest vocal warm-up of all time. Shot at Jack Daniels.
Shot of Jack Daniels.
Yeah. Which was hysterical because again, when we worked with the previous record, the producer Rick wanted everything. You have to do vocal warm-ups, and here's this 30 minute vocal warm-up, like scales, and do this and do that, work on your guitar parts, perfect technique. And there's definitely a place for that because that made us significantly better musicians and singers and stuff.
Right.
But then you go into a studio with because we work with Kevin and Will, and then you work with both of them, and Will arguably has one of the top 10 pop punk records of all time with Chroma.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Saying, dude, just take a shot of Jack and loosen up the vocal cords.
Let's go for it.
And Ryan had some of the best vocal takes ever on that EP, and he did the same thing for this record, and it was probably just as strong, if not stronger at times. So.
Well, and it also just sounds like a much more comfortable environment as well. And, that you're going to get better takes just if you're comfortable, I mean, that's a lot of it right there.
Yeah. And no, I think all the people we've worked with have do a really good job at creating the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
We're vibing. This is a record. You should be happy you're sitting in a studio making a record and not working your job right now.
Right. And that's the dream and the goal.
This is my job to record you, but embrace the fact that you're sitting here in Nashville or Kentucky or New Jersey, hanging out with your friends, making music that means something to you, that's going to mean something to somebody else, instead of just clocking at your job, which you could be doing. So I think all three of them, everyone really brought that mindset to it as well as have fun.
That's the key right there. It's not worth doing if it's not fun. So
no.
So one of the things I've been noticing is there are a lot of really great bands coming out of Pennsylvania right now. You got Cheer Up Dusty, Don't Panic, Sleep Cycles, the Magwas, Midfield, Friends Circle. List goes on. Can you tell us what the music scene is like up there?
Friends Circle is Jersey. Do not
Jersey.
And in PA. No, I'm kidding. They're our best homies, and 2/3 of my band's from fucking Jersey, so I have to be nice about it.
They're close though, close by.
Yeah, honestly, I can see Jersey from my house, which is upsetting. But I think it was something we were actually just talking about at rehearsal, and Philly, very much like a lot of the major cities, is like a blue collar, gritty, rough city, and that doesn't go away with the things we have here, like music and sports and entertainment and whatnot. There are a lot of bands who don't come to Philly because crowds just don't care. Philly is very much like, what are you doing for me to make me invested in your music? Sure. And not in I need a cool shirt, I need this, I need that, but it's you better bring it if I'm gonna spend my Thursday night and $100 between ticket and drinks and food and all that to come watch your band play for 30 minutes or an hour, So I think that really kind of weeds out a lot of the, I don't want to insult anyone because it's your art, but you know, I mean, the bands that aren't kind of making a name for themselves, you
Sure.
know, so you can kind of come through there and like really push out and have that support behind you, like you're doing something right. And plus, like so many, not even just pop punk bands, but so many different sounding bands have come from this eastern part of PA, southeastern PA,
Right.
where you're not sure. It's not like you're going to get the same sounding Wonder Years band 5 times over, starting line band. You know, you're also going to have, you know, the Man Overboards, the Major Leagues, the I Call Fives, um, the Saracens, Balancing Composures, Super Heavens, Title Fight, Tiger Straw, Menzingers. You
Mm-hmm.
know, list kind of goes on. So you're not. There's no shortage of inspiration,
Absolutely.
and
There's
also allows. I was going to say, it allows you to, you know, it forces you as a band to be creative and unique to like
right.
check out.
Yeah, because there's so many bands that come out, like especially right now. Like there's so much coming out of Pennsylvania. It's wild.
Yeah, and they're all really nice people. Love Don't Panic,
Mm-hmm.
love Cheer Up Dusty. We got to
Oh yeah.
spend a little weekend with them. Friend Circle, we spend like 10, 12 days on the road with them. That was awesome. Midfield, we've known, I mean, they've been around just as long as we have at this
Mm-hmm.
point. So we actually just played like a house basement show with them
Hell yeah.
back in our, so that was rad.
Basement shows are always like house shows in general are just fantastic. Like there's not enough of them ever happening.
No, and they've definitely gone away from COVID just because no one wants the liability of someone getting sick in their house,
Well, right. Absolutely. Well, I
which is fair.
remember, pre-COVID though, God,
Oh yeah,
house shows were just the shit. There's just something fun about getting, 50 to 100 people crammed into a basement.
yeah. If you didn't come out dirty, sweaty, covered in beer, smelling like weed, you didn't go to the show.
Right, because you're all touching each other.
Yeah. But we still try to look for that really cool house show venue,
Mm-hmm.
you know, as
Any
we go.
chance you can.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the only time we'll rip a Philly show, even if we've like played Philly already, is like house show. Fuck yeah, why not? You know?
Yeah, I mean it's
It's
not going to be the
still-
same people, it's not the same thing.
No, and there's also less pressure. You're not playing at the big venue that you have to bring 50 to 100 kids out.
Right.
Got it. But yeah. So I think that, but I mean, I'm definitely rambling, but I think that's like the big thing with Philly is just it's a no nonsense city.
Nice.
If you want to be taken seriously, prove it.
And that's good though. Like you're going to have a dedicated fan base then.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we literally have had fans since the time we started. They never went anywhere, you know, and making new ones, playing these shows. I mean, we played a show with Can't Swim and we played so well. A brand new fan came up to us like a month later, who's still our friend now and comes to all
Mhm.
our shows. She had the artwork of Bad Times Don't Last tattooed on her leg.
That's awesome.
When Philly loves you, they love you. But when they hate you, they hate you.
Yikes.
Jack White's not allowed in the city, put it that way.
No.
Last time we played Philly, he got booed so badly and like trashed, literally with trash, that he ended the concert and hasn't come back since.
So, but here's okay. So like people paid to boo him? Like that's just wild to me.
No, he just sucked and everyone was mad about it.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I
Dude,
mean,
the Philadelphia
he's Jack
Eagles-
White, so take it or leave it in whatever you think I mean with that.
Philadelphia Eagles, the entire stadium during a halftime show, there was a dog with a frisbee, and it was the whole stick was the guy throws the frisbee across the field, dog runs down and catches it. Ooh. Dog dropped the frisbee. We booed the dog. Like that dog was so shook. And I love dogs. I don't condone doing this to animals, but that dude had to throw that frisbee again quickly and have that dog redeem himself.
Jeez. I
Yeah,
mean,
for sure. not painting a good picture of this city right now. Next question, please.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, that's kind of, it's not the nicest. What I was gonna say is like probably the hardest thing about Philly for me was watching. So this is going to date this show, but watching the Eagles just beat the shit out of my Vikings on Monday. Holy crap, that was brutal.
Yeah, but we did not play well in the second half, so hopefully we can fix that. It
We
should have
didn't
been
play well the
40.
whole game, so
Yeah, that was weird. I had Thielen on my fantasy team. I'm like,
me too.
just get a cup, just get him in the end zone like once or twice. We can still
Something.
win. But
yeah,
Ryan was actually in 2000. What was it? 17. That was the year we won the Super Bowl. I always forget if it's a 17 season and we won in the year of 18 or if it's the 18, like whatever. The year that the Eagles won the Super Bowl, beat the Vikings to go.
Yeah, the one where you took it from us from our when we were gonna go to the Super Bowl at home. Yeah, that one. Yeah, let's not talk about that one.
Ryan was he was in Minneapolis during that game.
Yeah,
he was turned away from the bar, so like, you're not, go away, like, you guys just beat us. He's like, what, man?
That's silly. Let it go. It's football. That's come on.
Yeah.
But people get crazy about their sports, man. Like especially football. Like
go to an Eagles game, dude. It's
no.
Yeah, no.
I'm a Vikings fan. I can't do that. That's scary, man.
I'll send you some videos if I can find them.
Okay. Yeah. Football, like so like, do you watch It's Always Sunny?
Yeah, of course.
Well, you never know.
It's bigger than the Catholic religion.
It is. I would assume so, but like that is honestly like my favorite show. I would have to say it's probably my favorite show of all time. Like honestly, I can watch and rewatch those like episodes, except for season 1. I think that's just everyone agrees on that.
They were finding itself though. It's okay. And honestly, adding Danny DeVito was the game changer.
Oh gosh, yeah. But
everyone loves it because they actually have the vernacular correct too. Like they say shore instead of beach. Like, that's a big thing around here. We're going to the shore, not the beach.
Nice. The episode where they like go to the Super Bowl is so funny. Like, and that one is so funny. And then like the reasonings behind, like where D gives Tom Brady pink eye and shit. That's why he was performing so bad. And Charlie, having to shove his like foot in the bear trap or in order for them to win.
My favorite episode is when they do they're on the plane, they're trying to do the drinking count. Yeah, and then Charlie hits the home run.
Yeah.
And
yeah, just him talking at the end.
I only brought one ball and I'm a little tired. I don't want to go get it. So we'll say you did it.
Yeah.
Like, that's just like that. That is exactly what would happen in Philly. We'd only bring one ball and be like, let's go drink more.
Is just, I can't remember like what he says, but it's like the way his drunk like stupor is probably the best on the planet.
It's an amazing show. Perfect show.
Absolutely. And with that, we're going to go one last question before we move on to our next segment. If you could give our listeners one piece of advice that you know now that you wish you knew when you were first starting out, what would that be?
Stop trying to beg people for attention and just do your thing and people will pay attention. Yeah, and I mean, we were definitely the band, would reach out to every record label, every booking agent, every manager, listen to my band, listen to my band, listen to my band.
Mm-hmm.
No responses. Same thing with people and fans, like check us out. And over the last year, a lot of these people we've talked to just because, running in the same crowds and stuff, and people know who we are. And they're just waiting for certain things to kind of like line up, or just not to get too far into that, doesn't matter. But like my point is, we tried so hard to beg these people to listen to us, but they knew of us the whole time. So it's like, just do your thing, be genuine, do it well, promote yourselves, and they'll find you. And if they want to work with you, they'll reach out.
That's very good advice. One of the things I really like about like this question is that we've been doing this for, over 50 episodes now, and there's a different answer for this question every time. So it's always something new to learn, and I love it. I like this one especially because everybody does that, and everybody goes down those rabbit holes, especially when they're just starting out or still fresh, just they want so badly like to be noticed. They want to be on a record label. Everybody wants to be on a record label. That's like the status, even if it doesn't get you what you think it's going to get you,
It's a flex.
It is. It's a flex because
it's a validation. I think it's the biggest thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's validating, my music's good enough to work with so-and-so label or so-and-so booking agent, or to go on so-and-so such and such tour.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, we're definitely, I'm no different. I've reached out to all those agents and labels, and I reach out to people to listen to the music. And, when you just kind of take a step back, you realize like, they know where you're at. You just have to push,
Yeah. And like 99 times out of 100, no one's going to respond. It's rare that people respond because you are one of thousands doing it daily, weekly. If you run a record label, especially a reputable one that somebody is seeking to be on, you're going to get a lot of people trying to be on your label. And as a record label, I mean, we're not a record label, but as like on the side of a record label, you only got so much money. You can only have so many bands. You can only support so many bands. And some of these record labels that are absolutely fantastic, wonderful people working it, but there's only so much attention and money to go around. You can't sign to everyone even if they want to.
Yeah, and you want someone to come to you and want to work with you. I mean, it's cool if you have like friends who are connecting you, like, hey, person I know at this place, sneeze. But it's cool like when people are doing that, like, hey, I know this person in this industry, I'll have them check you out type deal. But when people are reaching out to you, it means they want to work with you.
Right.
So just do your thing and work really hard and prove that prove it to yourself, have fun, do it with people you enjoy, and all those other pieces will fall into place when they're meant to fall into place.
Absolutely. And with that, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with our next segment.
Hey, Pat here with Unsigned Pop Punk. We're a community dedicated to building up the music scene by shining a spotlight on up-and-coming bands. Now, I know what you must be thinking. These guys must be raking in the cash. Wrong. But you can help us help others by picking up some merch. We found what big business is selling shirts for, and we slashed the prices. We saw what people are charging for sweatshirts, and we windmill kicked those prices in the face. So pick up some merch from us today. You won't be mad you did.
And we're back. It's time to go right into the obscure question segment. This one, we had our good friend, our new friend on the team, Matt. He came up with a lot of these obscure questions, and I'm excited. I'm excited to have him on the team. Excited to have him busting out some questions here. So we're gonna start out this first one here. So on your YouTube, wait. Let me redo that. On our YouTube channel. we've started this series where we rank different things. We call it Tears for Fears, a little play on that 80s band Tears for Fears, but it's tier like ranking. Our first episode was about tour food stops. What's your top 3 favorite food stops while you're on the road?
Oh, that's a good one. All right. I'm going to name 3, and I'm going to have to think about the order.
Okay.
So, Cookout, for sure. Culver's, Midwest cheese curds. Gotta
Absolutely.
love that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, why am I blanking on it? Oh, Waffle House.
Waffle House, yeah.
Yeah, we have to go to Del Taco. We haven't been there yet, but
I've never been to a Del Taco either.
Want to. So, all right, and those are traditionally food places. I'd say Buc-ee's. I know they have food, but then that's a different category. I feel.
I did put Buc-ee's on my list. I haven't been to a Buc-ee's, but I hear a lot about Buc-ee's.
It's great. My wife's never been, but she has enough Buc-ee swag. What is it? Okay, so I would say for me, number 1 would definitely be Culver's. There's the burgers, the cheese, everything.
Oh yeah.
Perfect. 2 would be Cookout, and then I'd say Waffle House for 3, because usually you're not going to Waffle House at a normal time. You're going at like that 2 a.m., 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Where you're in like a different headspace, and you're just vibing different as a group.
Middle of the night driving.
Yeah, and you see some shit you don't think exists, but it does.
Yes.
But yeah, Culver's, Cookout, Waffle House.
What is a cookout?
Oh, so Cookout's this like crazy thing. It kind of in like the southern mid-Atlantic, some spots in Ohio, I believe. Okay. So they do, I forget what it's called, but it's like a basket type. I don't know. I forget what the term's called, so I have to see the menu. But for like $8, you can get like 5 big things, like a burger, a quesadilla, mott sticks. You can get like fried, like corn, like the corn bread with corn in it, whatever they're called.
Okay, sure.
They have cheer wine, which is like this cherry soda that has like the So, but it's just like the price you can't beat. Like $6 to $8, you get it.
That's wild.
Giant thing, and you're full for a long time.
I'll have to stop at one of those. I've never even heard of that yet. So,
yeah, it's good, really good.
Damn, sounds good. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten dinner yet. So, and a lot of these obscure questions almost always revolve around food, because like the time that I like set schedule for these interviews is dinner time, and I haven't eaten ever. So, speaking of food, though, next question is: since you released a song called Leftovers, what would you say is the perfect leftover food?
I know some people are going to say pizza, but I love cold pizza.
Oh, I don't eat cold pizza. No, I'd have to heat it up.
No, I go as far as heating up the oven.
Okay.
I don't even microwave it. Yeah, you got to treat pizza with respect. It's leftover food.
Unless it's Domino's or something. It doesn't really deserve that much respect.
Phenomenal spot. Shit. You know what? I'm gonna go with pasta, but like fancy pasta, not like just spaghetti or whatever. Just like a good like chicken Alfredo, chicken pesto, cacciatore, tortellini. And only because I did that today.
Okay.
We did like gnocchis and meatballs and like a homemade sauce and all that stuff. And I was like, had the ice cold like sauce and meatballs, and I was just like eating the meatballs cold. I'm like, this shit's amazing. I don't even want to heat it up. Just so
I need to heat that stuff up, but I can definitely like support that, because my wife makes the best like Alfredo sauce that I've ever had. She makes it homemade all the time. And it's always better like the next day.
Yeah.
Because it's had time to like have all those flavors like come together even more.
And I look at it, the best leftovers can be eaten cold or hot.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why I'm pasta, because I can eat the pasta. My favorite's carbonara, and I can just scoop that. I mean, I prefer it hot, but you know, I'm desperate and running quick, and I can just kind of scoop a little bit, even though it's cold.
Just scoop it.
Yeah.
I like that. Last question, the obscure questions. What is the most obscure merch item that you've either had or wanted to create?
Banana hammock.
A banana hammock?
Yeah.
Did you make it or want to make it?
I want to make it for Volk. I feel like we have enough like funny guy fans who would buy it. You know what I mean? And be like, oh, I got Goalkeeper. Yeah. I don't really I buy t-shirts. I'm a simple man. Like I just got into long sleeve shirts like last year.
Ooh,
so
look at you.
I'm like traditionally shirts and hoodies, you know, but yeah, I think the obscure one I'd love to do like a Goalkeeper like man thong.
That's hilarious, and I support it. I wouldn't wear it, but I support it. If it was a banana hammock, like a legit like gonna hold them.
Yeah,
maybe.
Exactly. Yeah,
maybe.
It can't just be a thong.
I might try
a specific. Just to put it, you can just hang it in your rear view mirror in your car. Or something.
You know what you could do? Have you seen those like new underwear that have like the place just for your like your goods and wares, you know?
Yep.
Like they're still like boxer briefs, but they got the little pocket.
Yeah.
Could do that. That
would be good. But see, that's like makes sense. It's not obscure enough. It's like that should have existed.
I mean, it's still pretty obscure, I'd say, but
I guess I'm comparing it to like you walk up to our merch stand, there's just a thong, like a
yeah, but made for men thong is definitely not like thongs you'll see on merch tables, depending on what kind of concert you're going to. Like if you're going to like Buck Cherry, I'm sure you'll find like a thong there. But a man thong, you gotta go to a specific show, a Goalkeeper show.
That'd be
That's it.
That'd be your birthday suit costume, man.
There you go. So that's the end of the obscure question segment. We've got one segment left, and that's our rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Hell yeah.
Okay. You're going to just speak from the heart, shoot from the hip. Just go for it.
Bang, bang.
All right. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Neither.
Neither?
Nah, I can't, dude.
Lord of the Rings?
Nah. Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. He's popping up right there. Harry Potter. Mario or Luigi?
Mario.
Okay. Since we're talking about our age and ageism and stuff like that, can you sing to me the Bagel Bites jingle?
No, I can't, dude.
Do you remember?
No,
you don't remember like the commercial or anything?
I can visualize it, but I can't sing it.
Okay, so you know Bagel Bites.
Of course, I have.
They're in the fridge right now, freezer.
I'm pretty sure my wife bought them when we went grocery shopping.
Okay, well, I'm gonna sing it for you then to help spark this childhood memory for you.
Okay.
Pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening, pizza at supper time. When pizza's on a bagel, you can eat pizza anytime.
I don't remember.
You don't remember that? Okay.
No.
After this, don't wait for this episode to come out to find it. Go Google it. It is a great commercial.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to do that because I feel like I'm not doing my generation good.
You're not, man. You gotta know this. I just talked to somebody else that was like, it's like, I don't know. It was like, well, it's, we live in different parts of the country, but I'm pretty sure that this was a universal, everywhere commercial, because Bagel Bites is everywhere.
That had to be on that Nickelodeon commercial between Slime Time Live and all that at some point.
Right. I'm sure it had to have been somewhere, but So if you can't wait after this, go check it out. Otherwise, if you can wait, it will be on your episode. I put part of the commercial on all the episodes. So
Yeah,
Gwen Stefani or Haley Williams?
Gwen Stefani.
Damn straight. Hard shell or soft shell tacos?
Soft shell.
Last question. Sum 41 or yellow card?
Some 41.
Both are great. Stoked to see yellow card back. I hope that they stay back.
Mm-hmm.
But, I like me some metal,
Yeah, Some 41 had a bigger impact on me growing up. It was one of the first kind of mainstream like pop punk bands that even like my parents got into. So like they like playing them on the radio too.
Sure.
I mean the classics, again, Too Deep and Fat Lip and all that. But personally for me, and every single Goalkeeper album we've released, I always reference the guitar tones, the drum tones, and the explosiveness of the chorus and the layers of the songs of Underclass Hero.
It's so good. That's that's honestly also a devastatingly underrated album.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean that is, when people say like if you listen to a record and it takes you back to a time in your life, that record takes me back to the summer, driving to my friend's house to play video games, hang out, play basketball. But I can even like imagine like how the humidity felt, the heat felt, the summertime, like all the people who used to hang out in the cul-de-sac. It's a weird record how much like I put that on. I'm immediately back into like summer 07, 08, 09. Have you ever seen the Walking Disaster breakdown video that he shows you everything that went into it?
I don't think so.
I'll send that to you tonight, and that's exactly what we use to like go into the studio and like build our songs, because it's insane how many parts are like in each section.
I would love it. I would love to see it. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, because that's one of my favorite. Like the album as a whole is good, but it has some of my favorite like Sum 41 songs in total on there.
Yeah, I mean, just it's so underrated. And like if that was like their sophomore release or like third album, and it had the whole band still, I think it would have gotten more respect.
Yeah, because that's the one that Dave left. He wasn't on that one, right?
Yeah, that's when it was the first record without him, and obviously a lot of people didn't necessarily know if they could do it without him, and
right.
They did.
Absolutely. One of like, have you listened to like their last two records, like 13 Voices? So 13 Voices, I think, has my favorite song of theirs, and it's I don't think they even made a video for it. I just love it so much. It's a Goddamn I'm Dead Again, song 2 on that album. Right. I just love so much when they get into like adding a ton of metal to it. I really like metal.
Yeah, and they do it cool. Like, there's really no other pop punk band that I can imagine, I can really think of, that would just randomly rip out like Metallica and Pantera riffs in the middle of a concert with such ease.
Right. Well, because it's, like you could reference like other bands like 4 Year Strong and stuff to where they add like more hardcore, but Sum 41, they add like that old Metallica, Pantera style thrash metal.
Yeah, Iron Maiden even. Like there's a lot of I'm real nerd. Like I love watching like the interviews and all that stuff with bands. And I remember I forget which one it was, but he talked about how like the harmonies and the vocal production of Iron Maiden, and what was the other band? Iron Maiden, and has the bald guy who sings.
Anthrax? Like not Anthrax.
No, bald guy with like the goatee, 70s like metal band. Oh, why am I blanking on it?
Motorhead? No, that's Lemmy.
That's Lemmy, no.
From the 70s. Bald? I mean, I could think of like bald, like I could think of like Slayer and stuff. Like but they're not.
No.
They're not. I mean, they might have had some stuff in like really early '80s, but
It's gonna bother me, like not being able to. Hold on. It's gonna bother me so much. I can't remember. Judas Priest. Thank God.
oh, duh, yeah, Judas Priest. Why, duh, that was dumb.
But
We
like
failed.
a lot of yeah, we did. Good thing we're not from that generation. But yeah, like all the vocal productions and a lot of the song structures, like they take from a lot of those classic bands like that and just put it into punk.
Hell yeah, it's awesome. Well, you did it, man. You finished the podcast. Now's your chance. Let everybody know one last time. You know, anything you want to let them know, what's going on, where they can find you. You know, what's coming up the end of the year.
So we have a tour from October 26th and starting in Orlando, Florida, working all the way to Texas, back up through the Midwest through November. So keep an eye out. Come to their cities if we're anywhere near you and keep an eye out. New records out October 28th. We have the second single, Car Wreck, out on September 30th. Make sure you go pre-save and pre-order and all that stuff. I'm going to use the platform for those who don't know. Pre-saving is like the only free way to really help a band get onto all these like playlists and Spotify algorithms and all that stuff. So might be a little bit of a pain in the ass, but you know, again, it's the only thing we can do to support bands that's actually free. So do that, and then next year is going to be a whole heck of a lot of touring. Hopefully, we'll be in Minnesota.
Absolutely. If you get over here, I'll be there.
Yeah.
Come on up to Duluth. All the way up, because it'll be a really good drive, and there's nothing else around here.
I would like to do a full Canadian run where we like dip into Minnesota, because there's nothing in that part of Canada for like ever. So we dip into Minnesota and go through like the Midwest, then go back into like Ontario. So maybe we'll have to make that happen.
Do it. Hit me up if you're gonna play up here. I can help you out.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, thank you so much, man. This was so much fun. I'm happy we got to talk on this and actually meet in person too a couple weeks ago.
Absolutely. Meeting in person made this even more like relaxed. I didn't have to be nervous if you're going to be mean to me.
Always mean.
I know. Gosh, I could tell. I could tell in your pictures. You're just like.
I still have wore the shirt a couple times.
Hell yeah. Look at that.
Holds up very well in the washer, so thank you.
You're welcome. I try to make, I like to make merch that, good quality stuff I would like to wear. I guess I've always been that way. Like from doing bands and stuff, you can go the cheap route, but I just don't like doing that. I don't think it's going to sell much for you either.
No, not at all. You have to take your merch game seriously.
Absolutely. Well, with taking your merch game seriously, on that note, we'll call it a night. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you so much for checking out the show. Please hit that like, subscribe, or follow button so you never miss an episode. And thank you so much to those of you who already are. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or anywhere else you stream your podcasts. If you're in the position to help us grow and like behind-the-scenes access and exclusive shows, head on over to our Patreon at www.patreon.com/unsignedpoppunk. Let us know in the comments who you'd like to see on the show and what other content you'd like to see. Thank you all so much.